Dan Keeney. I handle public relations and investor relations with ERHC Energy, and I've been taking the time today to introduce you to some of the members of ERHC's technical team. And I've had the pleasure of meeting Martin Wensrich today, and Martin joins us. Martin, give us some background.
I've got about 35 years of experience in the oil business. I started out with Exxon. I've worked for Occidental, Unocal, and Devon Energy. The areas I've worked have included North and South America, both onshore and offshore, the Near East, Middle East, and Far East, as well as North and West Africa.
So Chad has some peculiarities. It's landlocked, but at the same time, there's a big oil field just to the south of our assets. What can you tell us about Chad?
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things is that Chad has over 1.2 billion barrels of oil that have been identified so far, and our acreage extends on to one of these basins that has been largely underexplored. We have discoveries by Exxon to the south, a recent discovery by OPIC to the west, and so we feel like we're in a real prime position to capitalize on what others have identified but not developed. Chad, for me, is a particularly exciting area to work. I feel like I have been training my whole career to work on this project. It combines a lot of the elements of my background, and it's a very challenging place to work. So I look forward to being there.
So why did these assets come into play? Somebody must have explored them in the past and deemed them to not worthy of further exploration?
Yeah, Exxon has looked at the area before, but they could not convince their management team to go after these prospects. They just didn't meet their risk reserve threshold. But we're not Exxon, certainly, and so our risk reserve profile threshold's a lot different than a super major is. And so what they find to be something that would fall into the bottom of their portfolio list, we would find very attractive.
So what's happening right now? What's keeping you focused day in, day out in terms of ERHC?
What we're doing right now is to digest a lot of information that's been gathered and interpreted by other companies in the area. We feel like we're in a position now to really focus in on the prime area, which is just north of those discoveries by Exxon. What I do mainly is work on interpretations on workstations, and those can be set up any place in the world, whether it's in Chad or in the United States. But what I plan to do is to go out to the field to visit with the crews, just to check up to make sure that the acquisition's being conducted properly. What I also will be doing in the near future will be flying into the capital to review our project with the Chad officials to get our permit processes expedited through the system. What I'm doing right now is we're getting set to load the seismic data that's been shot in the area onto our workstation and go ahead and interpret that and integrate it with the well logs, and then come up with a final target for our acquisition program.
For those in the audience who perhaps are not as sophisticated as you are when it comes to oil and gas exploration, can you give us a sense of what seismic is and why it's so important?
What seismic does is it helps you to image targets below the surface. And there are two ways of doing that. One would be with well logs, but these are point sources of information. The other ones with seismic data, where we are able to visualize vertical planes and horizontal planes through the earth and identify exploration and development targets.
Very good. Martin, I appreciate you joining us today, and continued good luck.
Thank you.